Hey, what's up? Ray Green here. If you're an IT business owner who wants a predictable stream of qualified appointments, who doesn't? But you don't have the bandwidth yourself and you don't have dedicated sales leadership, like a manager or something to help you recruit, interview, hire, manage, and coach an SDR or appointment setter properly, listen up, because in just a few minutes, what I'm going to do is walk you through a proven program that handles the heavy lifting for you so that you can stay focused on running your business. Now, most of the IT business owners that we work with kind of fall into three buckets when it comes to getting new appointments. And one is you've already got an SDR. Okay, but you're not sure whether they're performing really well or as well as they should be or could be, and you don't have the time or the expertise necessarily to go in and coach them up, to identify where the opportunities are, to work on the scripts, to track all the metrics. You sense that there's some potential that's being left on the table. The second is you're outsourcing lead gen to an agency, which for everybody, and believe me, I've done it. It sounds convenient at first, but when you do that, you've kind of lost control of the brand and the voice, and you're not really sure if they're dialing enough or if the quality of the calls are there, and the leads that you're getting aren't really all that qualified and they're not coming through at the pace that you'd really like. And then the third is you don't have an SDR or a setter yet, but you're kind of stuck on getting started there, right? Because maybe it's not something that you've done a lot of hiring for, and you're not sure, like, okay, where do I go to recruit? How do I get the right person? Who is the right person? What's the right experience? How do I pay them? How do I train them? How do I do all of this like really effectively without becoming a full-time sales manager? And if any of those sound familiar, trust me, you are not alone, and it is costing you revenue, right? Because every month that you don't get this fixed, there is an opportunity cost that's being left on the table. Now, the good news is there is a systematic way of training, of coaching, and holding your SDR accountable that doesn't devour your time or even force your hand to sacrifice parts of the brand or what's happening on the scripting to an outside agency. My team and I actually specialize in fractional sales management with a dedicated program built specifically for getting SDRs ramped up and performing and getting you qualified appointments so that you can keep it in-house, right? So you're not handing that off and you're not kind of playing the guessing game of what's happening out there with the agency. So you've got somebody that actually truly represents you and your business, and you don't have to rely on a third party for something as critical as client acquisition. So we bring the structure, we bring the processes, we bring the coaching that empower your SDR to deliver consistent results while you stay focused on doing what you do best, which is running the business. Now, I've personally spent 20 years in sales, and 15 years of that sales career has been in sales management roles, so sales leadership. And that's everything from sales manager to VP to a turnaround CEO for investor-backed companies. And during that time, I've led 8 sales team turnarounds. I've built multiple high-performing sales teams from scratch. In other words, I'm an operator, right? Like I've built the sales organizations that you're trying to build of very different sizes, like some, a handful of sales reps, some national sales teams. And over the past few years, I've coached and consulted hundreds of IT companies and MSPs, and even led the internal team for Robin Robbins, the world's largest IT marketing coach. So we've seen what works, right? And we've seen what doesn't in dozens of different markets. So we know how to find the good people. We know how to get them ramped up quickly and hold them accountable so that they're getting you consistent results and filling your calendar with the appointments that you really want. And that's exactly why we created this SDR Sales Champions program. And it covers everything that you need to hire and lead a high-performance SDR and help them succeed, get them the result. There's basically 5 components of this program, or at least that's how I categorize it. The first is me and my team, we run weekly sales meetings and huddles with your salesperson. Okay. So we plug them into our group. And they become part of our team basically. And every single week, we're going to run a sales meeting as if it was my sales team, right? So that means every single week, your SDR is going to be getting training, some type of skill development. We'll be doing role plays. We'll be doing call coaching, looking at the numbers and, like recapping where they're at on their goals. And on top of that, weekly meeting, we actually have 2 morning huddles. And what those are quick 15-minute meetings where we get them focused on right mindset before they start making their calls. We'll run some drills. We'll ask them some questions. We'll maybe practice rebuttals and really just make sure every SDR is ready to get to prospecting. So getting them in the right mindset. So it's a core weekly sales meeting that we're running every single week, and we change up the curriculum and the agenda of that. And then we've got the 2 huddles. So 3 times a week, we're injecting your SDR with some energy, with some skills, some, drills and mindset. The second is they get plugged into a team dashboard. All right. And I've always said managing a sales team of 100 is actually easier than managing a sales team of 1. When I have 100 people, I've got best practices. I've got a large sample to look at. I've usually got 1 or 2 outliers that are raising the bar, right? And proving what can be done. I've got other people that are doing the same thing. So I can look at that and just nuke any excuses that a salesperson has. Like, well, I can't do it. It's the economy, it's this, it's the script. And you could say, hey, we've got, so-and-so over here is doing the same thing. When you're running a team of 1 or 2, you're kind of stuck wondering, hey, if we're not, are we getting results, right? Is this where we should be? Could we be doing more? Not really sure. If we're not getting results, is it the list, right? Should we do something with the list? Is it the audience? Is it, the script perhaps? Is it the execution? And it makes it difficult when you've got 1 or 2 SDRs in isolation. So what you get in this program is the benefit of plugging your SDR into a group of SDRs that are doing the same thing, and it gives you something to measure against, and you have access to that dashboard and all the data that's in it. The third thing is your SDR gets plugged into a peer community and a forum where they get unlimited asynchronous support. If your SDR is having a tough time getting through gatekeepers, right? Like anybody else have any suggestions on getting through gatekeepers? Or maybe they're getting a specific objection that they're having trouble with, and they can pop into the forum and ask, okay, hey, I'm getting this objection. Anyone have any good questions or any rebuttals or something to overcome this objection? And when I've built great sales teams, what I've noticed is there's just like this constant iteration and improvement by everybody kind of using best practices and collectively raising the bar. So they get plugged into that community. And now the other thing about that community is my team and I are in that forum as well. So they can ask questions. We're monitoring that. We're jumping in there every day and we're giving support. We're giving answers. We're doing some coaching. They can pop in a call and we can listen to it. We can give some feedback. They've got a place to go where they can level up and frankly, just get some peer support, because I don't know when the last time you made 100 calls a day is, but man, it helps to know some other people that are doing the same job. The fourth thing is actually new. It's our owners and managers community. And so this is similar to what the SDRs have, which you have access to, by the way. We also have an owner and managers community. This is a private forum for you as the owner of the business or the manager of the SDR, where you can ask the bigger picture questions, like the stuff that you may not want to ask in front of the SDR. So, if it's feedback on the SDR, which we provide you, like we have a feedback loop for that. But if you want to know how they're doing, if you have some questions about the comp plan, if you have some questions about the offer that you're selling, if you have some question about the numbers that you're seeing, right? Like we have the sales management experience on our team. So this is a forum where you can access that, ask us questions. And we actually run a monthly call now where we just the managers and just the owners, where we focus on the higher level strategies to keep your sales operation growing and moving in the right direction. So that's the fourth component. And then the fifth is if you don't have an SDR or you lose one along the way, and let's face it, this is, a junior sales role. A lot of times it's somebody getting their foot into the door and, looking to move into a sales career. And there is turnover in this role. Right? Or maybe you're just starting out and you want to improve the likelihood of getting the right person in that seat. Then what we have is support to help you do that. And we've got a full toolbox of templates to help you with job descriptions, to help you with job postings, making sure that they're tailored the right way to attract the right people. We've got tools to help you screen resumes, right? Some frameworks to help you identify the winners from the not winners. How to run your interviews. So we've got all of these templates. We've got all these resources and frameworks to help you do that. Now, when you're doing this, we also create a private channel for you. And what we do is offer you some support as you're implementing this thing. So we'll give you feedback. You send us over the job posting. We'll ask you to tweak a couple things. You send us over the comp plan. We may give you some feedback on that. And we'll give you some feedback on resumes after you've gone through and done like the first pass. And we can, help you identify, all right, like these are a handful that look really good. Not really sure about these. And then when you get down to a couple of candidates, you can actually send us the interviews if you're doing them virtually, or in some cases, we'll actually hop on a call and we'll conduct an interview with your final candidate. So the whole point of this part is to ensure that you're getting the right person in the seat. Now, frankly, it's a selfish move because you are more likely to get good results if you have a good person. So we want to help you get a good person and fast track that process and minimize the likelihood of a misfire in the hiring process. Now, that doesn't mean we bat 1,000, but what it does mean is we bring all of our sales hiring experience to bear to help you get that person and get them faster. So all 5 of these things are basically designed to save you time, to ensure that best practices are consistently being applied, even as they change, right? Like things at the beginning of the year may be different than things at the end of the year. Okay. So we want to make sure that we're consistently applying those best practices and give your SDR the resources that they need to succeed, right? So that you don't have to micromanage. Now, most MSPs ask me 2 things. One is, couldn't I outsource this to an agency? And 2 is, couldn't I just do this myself? And the first about outsourcing to a lead gen agency, you absolutely can, right? But like, if you look at the track record, very few agencies consistently deliver quality results. If they did, they would be massive. It's just not the case, unfortunately, because they oftentimes experience high turnover themselves. They're shuffling different reps into your account. People who don't really understand your offering, don't understand your business, don't understand your culture. Like, you actually lose access to a lot of critical data. So if you have a prospect that says, hey, call me back in a couple of months, just not a good time, or I'm in an agreement, that's stuff that I would want in my CRM. You're going to lose that when you outsource it. And worst of all, if the agency stops performing for any reason, like you're suddenly left with no way to generate your own leads. Now, in my view, cash is oxygen to your business. So being able to generate new clients and go find new clients and bring them into your business, if you completely depend on somebody else for a third party, even if they're doing a good job, and usually they don't, but even if they do a good job, if something happens, you're basically on life support. And that's like pulling the plug. You no longer have the ability to go generate new clients. And that's not a position that I want to be in as a business owner. Now, can you do it yourself? Also, absolutely possible. But the question is, like, do you have the bandwidth? First of all, like, do you have the time to go do this on your own? Because building and managing your own SDR, like the framework, it's going to require a lot of trial and error. How do I know? Because I did it. Like, it was my career for a long time. And there were a lot of lessons, a lot from mistakes, right? Things that I've learned. And those things can be time consuming and they can be expensive. Now, we've already taken the lessons and we've already taken the scars that come with that learning curve and figuring out, how do I increase the probability of success and decrease the likelihood of a failure? We've done that so you don't have to, right? And our program fast tracks your success, gives you all the benefits that you would have of basically bringing somebody in-house. So you have that asset and you have that skill to go get new clients in your own business, but you get to do it faster. You get to do it with fewer mistakes and you get to do it with a higher likelihood of success. So with our program, basically it's the best of both worlds, right? Like, you're getting outside experience, but you're installing that thing inside your business and you're not having to do it with the heavy lifting. And then once you do get the candidate, we're there to help support them and coach them and get them ramped up and keep them on track. So faster results, more economic outcomes, and lower risk for your business. Now, we've already helped dozens of IT companies and MSPs get real results. Like, we've seen some who already have an operation going get 30, 50% more first-time appointments and those initial qualified opportunities just in a couple of months. Here's a quote from Michael Glasser. He's the equity partner and EVP at Frontline, who has a team of SDRs. And he said, the progress has been exponential. Our sales pipeline has never been fuller. While their MSPs are struggling to get leads, we have a steady flow of qualified opportunities. The cool thing is with Michael's team is the SDRs that he's had in the program are actually so successful, they're graduating them into the role of closing too. So that's a great example of somebody who's put this to use, gone through the program, let the SDRs run and get the coaching and the support that they need to get results. Now, the other thing is we actually asked the SDRs, hey, what do you think of the program? Is this something that you're getting value out of? And here are just a couple quotes from people that gave us feedback. One is from Eric here, and he said, I love the red hat, green hat. And this is where we do call reviews and we have the SDRs provide feedback on calls that are there so that we can give feedback, not just on the calls, but also help them coach and help them see what we're seeing on the calls. And he said, I love the red hat, green hat calls, the reviews that you do in the group. It gives the fellow team members an opportunity to hear something that you may have said or not said and critique each other. Because a lot of times you may think something is working, but it may just be a small adjustment that can really make it a game changer. Grace here says, I feel like it's always helpful to hear from others because sometimes we're doing this all day, every day, and it's easy to get in a rut. Like a couple of weeks ago, I felt like I was, and asked a question that turned into a 10-minute discussion with everybody sharing how they fixed it and got past it, especially as the only person in my company doing this. And then lastly here, Daniel said, one thing that I've learned here is sharing of knowledge, best practices, and best tips. Like if somebody's getting through the gatekeeper, I like knowing that and what their strategies are. Now I could give you dozens more on both sides of this from managers and from SDRs. But the point is they love the hands-on coaching, the accountability, and the competitive, kind of collaborative environment that we've created. And it's not about the hype, right? It's about consistent, repeatable processes that actually drive real growth. Now, if you're hearing this and thinking, I like this, but do I have time for this? Or will this work in my niche? Or I don't have an SDR yet. First, do you have time for this? I completely get it. You're spinning a lot of plates, and I am too. I'm a business owner, so I completely understand. But in my experience, like building your ability to generate consistent, high quality leads is, in my view, one of the highest leverage moves that you can make in your business because it drives revenue, it de-risks your business, and ultimately, it's going to save you time, significant amount of time in the long run. Outsourcing it, like I've already said, kind of ends up consuming more of your time anyway, because even if you find an agency that's going to get results, they're going to need a lot of input and a good feedback loop to make that happen. And it ends up oftentimes like requiring more work to get there. And any agency not doing that isn't going to get you results anyway. Like I said, if you're doing it alone, there's going to be trial and error, and there's going to be, more failures. There's going to be lessons that you learn along the way, things that we've already absorbed for you. So we fast track the progress with like proven frameworks, good experience, hands-on support. So you invest time once, and then you get to reap the ongoing benefits. Now, as far as the niche, because many of you have like a specific vertical or specific geography, absolutely. Like, here's the thing. We've seen this work for specialized verticals. We've seen it work for local geographies. We've seen it work for IT companies that are have national coverage. The frameworks adapt to your language and market, which is why, especially on the recruiting side, we'll give you some feedback. Like, we'll help you tailor it so that you can feel confident that will help you connect with the right prospects in the right way. And then if you don't have an SDR, that's no problem. Like, that's actually part of our program is designed, like I said, to get you the right person faster and get them ramped up faster, get them getting results for you faster. And when we're doing that, like in the recruiting process, we actually put a weekly 30-minute call on the calendar to make sure that we're moving the needle on that, right? Like that the process continues to move on. So it's a little bit of accountability, some feedback, but also a check-in to make that thing move. And again, increase the likelihood of success. So you get there quicker, fewer mistakes. So if you're serious about getting a predictable flow of qualified appointments while staying focused on what you do best, just click the button below. We can hop on a short call with me or my team, and we'll talk about the current SDR situation that you have now. Whether you have a rep or two, or you're looking to hire one, and we'll see if it's a good fit. And if it is, we'll get you onboarded, we'll get you plugged in, and so you can start seeing results quickly. And if it isn't, we'll be the first to tell you. Like, we don't want to take you on if it's not something that we think that we're going to be able to get you results with. So there you have it. Again, I'm Ray, and I've built and led high-performing sales teams for over 15 years. My mission is to help you install a dependable sales function that doesn't devour your time and help you start building the sales organization that's going to get you the results that you want. If it sounds like what you need, like I said, just book a call. We can get started. And thanks for watching. Look forward to working with you soon. Adios.